That's why I don't believe this is an ideological moment. Like everybody who's saying the rise of the DSA, and I don't see that. For every time you're seeing like an Espaillat lose, you're seeing a Javier Becerra win. Every time you're seeing an Al-Sayed win, you're also seeing a Tallarico win. Like you're seeing both. It's not
populism is the commonality, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the populism is the commonality.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Latino Vote Podcast, coming to you from Casa Rocha headquarters here in Washington, D.C. Mike Madrid, are you in Michigan?
I am not in Michigan, still in Jalisco, down in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, but
that's not close to Michigan, right? I don't think that's
not
close.
That starts with an M.
Oh.
But that's about as close as it gets, Chuck. We'll do a little geography lesson, probably in a later episode.
I look forward to my map back here, but it wasn't there.
Hell of a night in Michigan, huh? I was doing a live show when the polls closed, and I was with some Michigan experts, and they're like, this is El-Sayed plus 15. What did you think? What did you think about it?
Well, it wasn't El-Sayed plus 15, but I'll tell you this, and I tweeted about that a while ago. For those of you who are following Mike Madrid, you should follow some Chuck Roach on Twitter. Pretty epic stuff I put out there. Not that much. I'm pretty joking. Anyway, I said, what about this Democratic polling? The last four polls that came out. No, let me back up and do a Mike Madrid. Of all the polls that have come out this year in this primary, the average of all the polls that Mike Madrid likes to talk about was R plus 15, Mike. Not R plus 15. It was El-Sayed plus 15. That's not what happened last night.
No, and I did write a Substack on this about a week and a half ago. Got to take a little bit of credit because I called it lies, damn lies, and polls. There is a tendency, and it's not just a Democratic thing, by the way. Many of you guys remember the 2022 midterms when there was this big supposed red wave coming, and these partisan polls started flooding the zone, showing that Republicans were going to do quite well. And of course, that never materialized. I don't want to say the same thing is happening, but the same thing is kind of happening here, right? Is a lot of those polls that are coming out are left-leaning nonprofits, left-leaning pollsters that are coming out, and they were showing El-Sayed, with a 15, 17-point lead. Like this race they were saying was over a while ago. Is that shenanigans where they're just, trying to set the narrative and shut down momentum? And is that what ultimately killed the close race? I mean, I don't know. I will say that Michigan historically is a very hard state to poll. And a lot of the public polls were showing double-digit leads too. So I'm not going to say it's purely just partisan shenanigans or the DSA type folks flooding the zone with bad polls. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm saying that just the day after, a few hours after it's closed, I want to take a deeper dive and understand it. It could just be Michigan's quirkiness, but it also could be something else. I mean, what are you hearing?
The thing that sticks with me is that we are, in my world, the grunge of day-to-day ad making, all the things that we do, all of the focus groups, all the polling, everything is driven by polls that Mike Madrid or y'all listening never see. But we can't go scratch our ass without looking at a poll or a focus group. We can't make an ad, girls and boys, unless the poll says it's the top performing issue. I get dramatic about that because it drives me crazy. It's not wrong. And I'm not bad-mouthing those pollsters who work for the Democratic Party because Republicans do pretty much the same thing. You run a poll. What's the number one issue? You run your media around that.
Yeah.
Okay. But these polls, because less people are picking up, the models are broken because it's a change election every 2 years. They're just not as accurate. And what I was thinking about last night was the poll that Jasmine Crockett put out 2 weeks before the election showing her winning by 13. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Hey, look, for you pollsters, get off my ass. I know it's hard to poll a primary, but in a statewide race, you have enough data to get somewhat close to predict what the turnout should be to get your poll somewhat right. You shouldn't be off 8 points. I'll give you 2 or 3 because nobody's perfect and you're estimating a turnout that you have no idea about until they turn out. But if you look back, this is Mike Madrid, through historical data of turnout, you can get kind of close. So I call a little bit of bullshit on all of them. Damn it, Mike Madrid, you've made me into an animal.
Well, sorry about it. I get a little grouchy. Sounding a little Mike Madrid in you coming out. So I'll be a little bit, I'll try to be a little bit more diplomatic.
Be nice one here.
Yeah. In California, we got it right. Our primary, all of our polling was pretty accurate.
That's true.
Yeah, we were a little bit off on the turnout. I mean, we had the highest turnout midterm gubernatorial turnout ever in California history. Now, a lot of that is because there's just a lot of people. We've got an open primary, and that helps. But the polling was pretty accurate. So there is something we got to always look at. This is interesting too, Chuck. Because this polling thing, where these misses, are becoming more regular. They're a relatively new thing. We didn't see a whole lot of that when we were younger, and it was easier. And I've got to believe
More
that
people picked up the phone, right, Mike?
more people picked up the phone. The coalitions were a lot more set. It was a lot easier to just match the voter file to the electorate. It's getting tough out there. I mean, it's getting polling like every industry, man. Our industry is like, if you think about when we were kids and what we're doing now, like half of what we do didn't even exist, right? So yeah, I mean, it's they're getting. I want to say they're getting better, and I think the idea of aggregating polls is very helpful. But then you've got the partisan pollsters who put fake polling out there to screw with the aggregates. So it's tough. I do look. Polls are scientific. They are evidence based. This is really going to drive some people crazy, but mark my words, I'm right on this. The predictive markets, they're going to start becoming more important because as they get bigger and more mature, they're going to start telling us more things. Now, they're not scientific, but if I'm looking at a race, which I do all day, race all over the country, I want to know where people are insiders that are putting money on this thing. That's a data point that you can't ignore. You shouldn't ignore. And you may not like why or how or what or whatever. That's fine, but it's still a data point. I don't know how much to weight it, but I do know that those instruments are getting more and more sophisticated every month. And the more sophisticated they get, they're starting to tell us something. And we saw that in California too. We started to see those movements happening in predictive markets before the polls caught up. Now, it seems like a lot of the betting markets were showing Al-Sayed winning by 15% or more because of these polls. So some people are getting fooled there too. But like I said, the way we look at and examine and analyze races are going to have to change because all of our instruments that used to work aren't working quite as well as they used to.
I love that you brought up the betting markets because I think that we have to now we stopped relying on just calling people. Then we went to online panels, and correct me on all this, but we've evolved polling. Sure, they've always been weighted, but we used to call people on a landline, and that was call my mama at home, and it was good, and we were tight.
Yeah.
Then there was cell phones. Not everybody picked up their cell phones. Then became let's back up. Then there was caller ID on landlines. Remember that, old man?
Yeah.
Don't call. That was Nancy. I broke up with Nancy a week ago. Don't pick that up.
This is back when Chuck had a pager.
Ooh, I had a pager and looked like a drug dealer in a black dually in East Texas. But anyway, dually's a big pickup truck.
Dually.
So then we went to, I had a dually because I hauled cows. Anyway, side note. So all this, the betting markets now, I think is going to become one of the factors. You're going to look at some polls. You're going to look at the factors of what's going on in the betting market because they've been more right in some instances than the polls. They don't say how much they'll win by. They're just saying they're going to win, and here's the odds. Go put your money down if you want to. So I think it's something definitely to look at, and these betting markets are going to become more of the mainstream, at least in politics. I don't want to talk about betting on wildfires or things I saw yesterday on Capitol Hill. That's crazy. I'm talking about betting on politics. That's where your vibes are, and they're so much ahead of where a lot of the numbers are right now. In Michigan last night, let's go over a few numbers. As we stand this morning, we were recording this on Wednesday morning. Diego will get this out pretty quickly. He is a sharp man. Thank you, Diego, and all of the supports teams, the thousands of production staff that we have. Think about Al-Sayed. The NBC's called it. A couple other folks have called it. I'm sure they'll call it. Me looking at what numbers are still out, him being up by 2 points, it's going to tighten more, but there's not enough out if it's breaking at the percentage that it's breaking now. But I think it'll close to within one, and then they'll be all counted. But I think he's going to end up winning this thing by 1 point or just under 1 point, like 0.08, looking at what's out. What I'm looking at now for all of you nerds is Wayne County. Haley is winning Wayne County almost 2-1 with these late ballots, but there's only about 30,000 of them out. It's not enough to make up a difference. She will close the margin. I don't think, unless something crazy happens, she can close it enough. I sound pretty smart, don't I, Mike?
You sound pretty, like we switched roles here. This is a little bit odd.
It's called crazy.
I am going to suggest, well, I'm going to ask you because you are sounding so brilliant today. Does that bode well for El-Sayed in November or worse? I mean, would it have been a blowout, been a better sign for his viability, or is this narrowing close race a better sign?
If he's got consultants that are worth their weight in whatever, gold, dirt, you iron sharpens iron. Me and you bitch about Kamala Harris not having a damn primary. He had a hard primary. He's now had a primary. He knows how to do this, and he's going to know the votes that he lost. He's going to know he got his ass kicked with black voters in Detroit. So he better get his ass down there and hire some black consultants and get his shit together and make up with that. He obviously has problems with Jewish folks in certain parts of the country. He needs to find middle ground there. And ironically, looking at the numbers, you can tell I've done a bunch of TV and homework on this because I do sound smart, is that if you look at the coalition and the way that Bernie Sanders won this state in 2016, Bernie did way better with white working class people, and he has not. He's done really well with educated folks and folks with nose rings and blue hairs and master's degrees and a lot of other folks. But he really does good with those folks. So it's a 50-50 race, but he'll know what he's lost and has absolutely enough time to bring that coalition together.
That's a great way to look at it. That you're hearing from a political consultant right there. That's exactly the right way to look at the race.
Don't quote me on that blue hair thing. Then people will be mad at me.
Yeah, Diego, we might need to edit that part out. actually turning the volume up a little bit on that one. I want to see how Chuck responds to the blowback.
Here's what you don't know, Mike Madrid. Did you know an incumbent congressman from Detroit lost last night?
Tell me more about it.
Thanador, he's Indian American, he's Southeast Asian, he's an Indian fella, so I'm going to butcher, and I mean no disrespect of his name, but it's Shier Thanador, whatever. He was the incumbent. He represented Detroit. Okay, for all you political nerds, the reason that he's represented Detroit for 2 terms now, this self-funding Indian guy he's a congressman nobody knows. But because when that seat opened up, it was the old Conyers seat. Remember old man Conyers?
Yeah. John Conyers, sure.
Detroit, Motor City, black ass, like this black power, like part of that whole fucking shit of history. Well, when he decides not to run for Congress no more, 15 black folks who want to be congressmen run, and 1 Indian fella. Guess who wins? The one Indian fella who's got his own money, who put in $2 million of his own money and bought him a congressional seat. The next year, which was 2 years ago, he runs, and the black folks are like, look, this is our seat. We're going to beat your ass, so we're only going to run 5 candidates against you. And he wins again. Well, guess what happened this year, Mike Madrid?
They ran 1 candidate.
They ran 1 candidate against him, and he's really a lefty guy, and that's fine. It's a lefty district, young, black, progressive, Lawrence, forgot his last name, who got about half of the Congressional Black Caucus to just come out and go, we're with him. We're going to be with the black guy. Sorry, Cherie. And he's going to end up winning. They just called the race for him while ago. So an incumbent goes down in Detroit. But over in St. Louis, a black incumbent who was being primaried last night from the former member in the district, Cori Bush from the squad, he beats her ass last night.
Interesting.
So there is some real hope for progressives and then other embarrassments for them as well. AIPAC spent a lot of money for Wesley Bell in St. Louis, I should say, as well.
That's why I don't believe this is an ideological moment. Like everybody who's saying the rise of the DSA, and I don't see that. For every time you're seeing like an Espaillat lose, you're seeing a Javier Becerra win. Every time you're seeing an Al-Sayed win, you're also seeing a Tallarico win. Like you're seeing both. It's not
populism is the commonality, is what you're saying?
Yeah, the populism is the commonality, and I do think that there is some discernment in the Democratic voting base right now that is a lot more measured than the chattering class and the punditocracy in DC is giving people credit for.
What punditocracy is?
Well, we're part of it. It's a pundit.
You
just keep talking about this stuff. Yeah, you're on a list. You better be careful.
I got all of these awards up here from being a punditography up there on top of the thing is what that's from.
So I just don't see this as like, I got asked yesterday on a show, are Latinos, is this all democratic socialism? Is that what they're being appealed to? And I said, you know what? You had me on this same show 18 months ago. And you asked me if all this MAGA fascism was part of Latino culture. Same exact question 18 months ago. Like, no, it's not. Stop it. Like, the Latinos want a strong man from like Central America, and then like say no, they really want a socialist, and it's like this. It's a lot of white folks who are trying to caricaturize us and make us these little exotic savages and try to figure it out. It's like, how about you just help us pay the rent? Like, just leave us alone, man. Like, stop.
When El-Sayed, I've been watching a lot of his stuff, and every rally, and I said this on TV last night and this morning, it blew people's mind. First thing he gets up, he takes the mic and he goes, money out of, they go, politics. Money in, the people go, your pocket. So money out of politics, money in your pocket is his first thing he starts with his shout and repeat, like Jesse Jackson Jr. To me, that says drain the swamp. Second thing he says is no money to foreign wars, no money sent overseas when we need money here in Detroit for our schools and our things. Let's get out of all these wars. Let's not give money to Israel. Let's not give money to Iran, wherever. Let's put that money here. Drain the swamp. No money for wars. You know where I'm going with this. Then he says, folks deserve health care. And how many people deserve health care, maybe Medicare for? And everybody goes, oh. So all of that sounds a lot like a guy who ran for president, 16, named Donald Trump, right, Mike?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And look, are there going to be some policy differences? Sure. Until there aren't.
Sure.
I'm America first until I'm not. But that's what it is. It's all. I love the way you just set that up perfectly. It's drain the swamp, and I
no foreign interventions.
It's all it's not even right or left. That's isolationism and it's protectionism and it's America firstism in its own form. So
and you got to like somebody. I still think that we miss that. You've got to be charming and likable.
Yeah.
And this guy, he's no second coming to Barack Obama, but he's also not Haley Stevens, bless her heart. Like, she's just not that likable.
Yeah.
And she was a little awkward, but still with all of the money. That's what really blew my mind, Mike. 9-1, he was outspent, $50 million. That's why she got close, because it was hard for me to believe that she was going to lose by double digits, even though everybody else said it. And I didn't know. I just stayed out of it because I was like, my God, if she loses by that much with that much money being spent to help her, it made a lot more sense to me that it was that close.
Yeah, but I think one of the lessons that I'm going to write a piece on this because this is brilliant. This is why I like talking to you, is because you help my brilliance come out.
Well, here we go.
If one of the lessons of this year is that money isn't nearly as big a factor as people think. Tom Steyer got his ass whooped. That guy spent a larger amount of money than like 20 countries' GDP in California, and he got smoked. He didn't even make the top 2. Like, AIPAC is getting whooped all over the place, and they're spending tens of millions of dollars. I'm not saying money doesn't matter, but I am saying this. Money doesn't matter nearly as much as people think it does in this business. It just doesn't. In a highly partisanized, stratified, racially polarized environment, you can't buy people's loyalty. I don't care. It was Elon Musk is going to spend $100 million. Good. They need every nickel of it in this year, and it still ain't going to move the needle.
No, I totally agree. And I want to talk about one more race, and I think you're exactly right. Funny side note for all of you nerds at home. Tom Steyer, media consultant, who made all that money off Tom Steyer, is El-Sayed's media consultant as well. No peso, no say-so, evidently, with those ad makers. Anyway, God, I love them all. I ain't saying nothing bad. Don't send me hate mail. I love all of y'all. Please hire me, please. Anyway, so we're getting back to what I was saying. In Michigan, the last race I'm going to talk about is Michigan 7, Mike. It's represented by a Republican. It's the seat that the current stay with me, Democratic senator there, the woman, is it Slotin? The Democrat, the woman who just beat Rogers last time. She was the congresswoman. Can't remember her name, but it starts with SCH. Schulten.
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, she just lost a lot of weight. Anyway, she's wonderful. Her congressional seat that she won is a marginal seat. It's an R+3. And she was a moderate. She ran as a moderate. And when she left that seat, that congressional seat, to run for the Senate and beat Mike Rogers by less than 0.5%, the Republicans in a Trump year running for president picked up that congressional seat. That was a Republican pickup, which was her seat. Hang on one second. I'm going to get her damn name. Boop, 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 boop. Michigan. Where's Michigan? Michigan. Jesus Christ. Elise Slocum. Elise Slocum.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier.
Jesus Lord. Sorry.
Then you said it was SCH something, right?
Yeah, I was thinking of somebody else. Anyway, I
love it.
digress.
I love that you use, by the way, a poster on the wall when everyone else uses the computer in
A
their hand.
spreadsheet. I don't know how that Excel works, but anyway, look. So we lost her congressional race. She becomes the U.S. senator. So now we're going to try to beat this Republican because he's a freshman running in an R+3. So there's a Democratic primary there. And this is another point about these Democratic socialists or moderates or what the hell ever. Last night, there was a 3-person primary, all 3 white people. This is a white district, R+3. And the founder of the Sunrise Movement, he's going to end up being the Democratic nominee in a swing seat. So make sure you're watching Michigan 7. There were 2, the press likes to call them moderates. I don't know. The Sunrise Movement is very left, very Bernie and all the things. But he won the primary last night with 30% of the vote, Mike. The other 2 people got 60% of the vote. He's the DSA candidate, and he's going to be the representative in this marginal seat in November. Keep your eye on this one.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think we're heading into a year where like a tree stump could win against Republicans. And the Democrats are going to believe that this is an insurgent, movement, and let's shift to the left and the DSA. And I think it bodes poorly for 2028. I'm getting far down the road here, but I just, man, the shades of the Tea Party. It's like the exact.
Where they get into Congress, Mike. Remember when all of y'all had like 15 votes for speaker?
Yeah, like this woman in Wisconsin who wants to get rid of Thanksgiving. It's like, what are we doing here? Like, what do you guys? I shouldn't say we. What are y'all doing?
Don't put that shit on me. I'm
just a poor boy from East Texas. That's your party. You own.
Poor old kid from East Texas, just trying to figure out how to make it.
Speaking of East Texas, boy, I talked to Bobby Polito yesterday about Mexican food, and he don't believe East Texas knows Mexican food.
I saw this video, y'all. I want you to know it broke my heart. I saw it, and it broke my heart. I seen it on the YouTubes. If you go on youtube.com, you can find things about me and Mike, and I seen this video. Him and Mike do this whole interview, and at the end, Mike talks to him about coming down to do some taste testing, and he's like, Chuck said the tacos in California ain't all that bad. And he was like, Chuck's from East Texas. He don't know about East Texas, about no damn food. Well, I might not because I don't live on the border and I'm a long way from the border. But we do know something about Mexican food and that it's not that bad in California. But whatever, Bobby, kiss my ass.
So, okay, well, I want to talk about races now because midterms are upon us, brother. And there's nobody.
I got 4 races for you.
Talk about these 4. Well, this was fascinating. We were talking a little bit pregame here before we went live. This is really fascinating. So walk us through this. I want listeners to hear
4 races. I want all of you to write these down because me and Mike are going to talk extensively about these. And we're going to go deep on these. 2 of these won't surprise you because we talk about them all the time. They just happen to be perking up.
I want to do interviews with these people if you're allowed.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. Each one of these 4.
These aren't incumbents. I've taken incumbents off. As Mike Madrid has just said, if you're a Democrat incumbent and you lose, you got bigger problems this cycle, right? I'm talking about 4 seats that are currently held by Republicans, where you have Latino Democrats running against those Republican incumbents in a marginal seat. That means that could swing either way. There's only 4 that are really marginal where there's Latino candidates. We're going to start in reverse order and do Bobby Polito first. And the reason we're talking about Bobby in reverse is Bobby's district shouldn't really be a swing district. Donald Trump carried Bobby Polito's district by 16 points. So why should a Democrat have any way to win there? Well, this dramatic change of an attitude with Latino voters. You have an amazing candidate named Bobby Polito who's running a great race, even though he don't understand that people in East Texas make lots of Mexican food. I'd forgive Bobby from that. We can't all be perfect, but he's damn near perfect. So Texas 15, Bobby Polito is the first race, but it's the most Republican of the 4, and I'll tell you about the other 3. Yeah. Bobby's race is probably the Trump was plus 16, but it's actually like an R plus 5, 6, 7 seat. And this year, those seats are on the table when it's Bobby Polito. The next race is Arizona 6. This is Tucson and the border. So think of Tucson South bumping right up next to the Grijalva seat, and it's got a Republican Latino named Siscamani. And Democrats are running a former Marine drill sergeant named Joanne Mendoza, Latina, in the Marines, running against a seat that's an R plus 2 or 3. Next is Colorado 8. This is a new seat that was added to Colorado that's north of Denver in Adams County and North Denver suburbs, but also takes in a lot of rural areas. Remember the guy Manny Rutenall? He beats a white Democrat to become the nominee against a freshman Republican, just like I described in Wisconsin. And then the last seat is our favorite seat, which is David Vallejo's seat in the Central Valley of California, and a great guy named Randy Villegas, who is a mom and dad owns an auto shop, grew up in the same town as Luis, my business partner, teaches a few classes at the community college, does ESL classes, salt of the earth. This kid's like 35 years old, but he is a Mexican from Mexico. His family, his parents were immigrant farm workers. Like, he's perfect for the district. So these 4 races, Mike, give me your take on some of this, but I think we really dig into these 4 this year.
These are the Latino 4 of this year. We're going to highlight and talk about these because not for partisan reasons, not for turnover reasons, not for any other reason than that their storylines are so fascinating, and it's going to say so much about where the vote is and where the vote is heading. And so I was thinking while you were talking, whether you're allowed to or not, I think I need to go take a visit into some of these districts and go meet with some of these candidates. I'm probably going to go meet with Bobby Polito. I've been talking about the Valladeo seat for a long time. I've talked with Villegas. We've had some separate conversations offline. But Arizona and Colorado, I think I got to get down there. I know you're doing some work on there. You might be restricted in what you can and can't do. But
I can go to Randy. We're on the hard side of Randy's race, so I'm working in his campaign.
Yeah.
The other 3, I'm walled off on the IE side.
Okay. Well, Chuck's making a lot of money this year, so I'm not. I'm poor and broke.
I got it all buried in the yard.
Yeah, you can join my Substack and help me out and make me pay my rent that way. But we why don't we work on scheduling? Because I want to get a camera crew down there and do some episodes, and we'll talk to these candidates where you can, and if not, I'll do them by myself, because these are the 4 seats. These are the Latino 4 seats that the country should be watching. So all you journalists out there, you want to write a good national story, that's where I think that you all should be focused on, because I
think all of these people, all of these Latinos and Latinas, Mike, are under 40. That's another thing.
Generational differences,
all working class.
Great, unique stories from Bobby Polito's, whose story is amazing, to Villegas, who's the son of immigrants in the Central Valley. By the way, that Central Valley seat, the Valladeo seat, I got a lot writing on this because I said I think Villegas wins. And everyone's like, oh, as a socialist, you can't win the Central Valley. I'm like, man, I don't think you understand the fundamentals of this year. I have had people that are very close to me, listeners of this show, I know I'm going to catch some shit for this, who were saying, man, you're really way off. You don't understand it. David Valladeo is loved by farmers and stuff. He might be, but you're heading into it.
There's only so many farmers.
Yeah, there's only so many farmers with only so much money. And like I was telling them, I think Villegas wins this seat because of the fundamentals of this year. Incidentally, the only other time I said Valladeo was going to win was 2018 when he lost.
And he did.
He did lose. Every other year, I was like, that's a pipe dream for the Democrats. It ain't going to happen, because you can just look at the way that seat is trending. I don't believe, and by the way, I'm going to have an interview later on today with Congressman Adam Gray, who you ought to know Adam if you don't. He's a fantastic guy. He's a blue dog Democrat, one of the few real conservative. I don't even consider conservative. He's a rural Democrat. There's just not many of them in the country left.
You should tell him that your partner in crime here made all of his Spanish language IE ads last year with House Majority PAC. Me and Luis and the team, all of those Spanish ads that were run on LA TV for him were made by my firm.
I will definitely let him know that Chuck is the reason he got reelected.
Tell him it's me alone, and he could send a check to 247. Oh, hang on. My wife don't like when I put my address on the internet.
But look, Villegas, I think, is a great story. All of these are really fantastic stories, and these are the 4 that we're going to be focused on because of those stories, and we'll see what happens in an environment like this. But we will.
I think we get him on the podcast if nothing else.
We'll get him on the podcast. I'm going to try to get the commitment to get down there and do an interview in the district. I want to sniff out those districts, take a video camera with me.
You should do Bobby and Randy if nothing else.
I'm going to taste some Mexican food in each one of those districts, and then I'm going to make the decision, because you can't go.
I can come back to California and have tacos.
I want to know which district has the best Mexican food? Is it going to be in Arizona, the Central Valley of
Ooh,
California?
that's a good one. Colorado probably got pretty decent food.
Colorado's going to have some great food. I'm going to be interviewing Ken Salazar, Secretary Salazar, for his book Borderlands, which is coming out.
I saw that emails.
I'm heading out there in a couple weeks. So,
are you going to be in Colorado to do it?
Yeah, in fact, maybe I could tie that into this. This
district is 30 minutes north of Denver.
Okay, well then, yeah, let's talk offline.
Yeah, I know how to get a hold of Manny. We do our business meetings right here on the podcast too, so y'all just stay tuned in. Manny is probably 35, skinny, good-looking Mexican boy, wears a cowboy hat, was in the state legislature for a term. Yeah.
Sounds like you, except for the good-looking.
I said skinny and good-looking. Anyway, yeah. I'm the opposite of those two things. And then in Arizona, Joanne Mendoza's a badass. I don't know if you've heard, but she wasn't just a Marine. She was a drill sergeant in the Marines. Like, she is not taking no shit off of nobody. Okay. And, when she says hut, 10 hut, you get 10 hut. Look, there's one more thing I want to cover here, Mike, about these races. Let me pull it up on my computers here. I got one of these Apple computers. I don't know how to run it. Oh, here we go, right here. The DCCC, that's the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee. Full disclosure, we work for them. I think they're awesome. Best in the world. I love them. Anyway, they have expanded the target list, Mike, to your point, 12 new districts. All of these districts would never be considered marginal because they're all, at least my initial look at them, are at least like R plus 6, 7, 8, 9. They're expanding these races. I'm going to give you just a couple. I'm not going to go through them all, but the Latino ones. Colorado 3, Colorado 4, Boebert seat, Florida 12, Nevada 2, New York 21, and Texas 23, the open Gonzalez seat where he left office, and the AK guy is running in that seat from San Antonio to El Paso.
Brandon Gillis, or whatever his name is.
Brandon something, but he has a gun show.
Is that a gettable seat for the Democrats? Is that guy that crazy?
Well, it's an open seat, so nobody's voted for either one of these people. I think that helps. I think if you had a strong incumbent there, it's an R plus 7 or 8. So with it being open, with us having a Latino to run there, and having the guy, and I don't even want to say the words here, but they put out an attack ad on this guy who said that that children were, I don't even want to talk about but he said some pretty disgusting things on the internet, on these YouTube shows that I think makes this very much in play in a year with James Tallarico and Gina Hinojosa on top of the ticket in Texas. Things are happening in Texas.
Things are happening in Texas. I mean, when you talk about Tallarico is one thing, but when Hinojosa is closing in now too, and you're starting to see polling coming out where Abbott and Hinojosa are tied, it's like, I look, I'm not saying it's going to stay there. I'm not saying it's not, but I'm going to say you haven't seen that kind of polling data in Texas in a generation. Like, there's a moment happening right now, and you've got to pay attention to it, because when you start to see the shifts that you're seeing all over the country, it explains why the DCCC is expanding the map the way that they are. It's a demographic shift. And for all this talk about Latinos not being monolithic, we are monolithic in 2026. People are monolithically anti-Trump. They're pissed.
And they're monolithically sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah, and that's pushing them into contention. And that's why you have to look at the map the way the DCCC is. Like, is there time to screw it up? Yeah, there is. There's a lot of time. A lot of things can change. But as I've also been counseling people, there's also a lot of time for things to get even worse than they are. Donald Trump ain't going to suddenly become sane. He's not going to be able to come out and pull out of Iran in the next 90 days. He's in a quagmire. Write that word down, Chuck. Quagmire.
Is that with a C or a Q?
It's a KW. It's
okay.
Like Queasy and Fume used to spell it. Quagmire. KW. It's with a Q, Chuck. It's with a Q. So look, the political environment is so bad right now for Republicans. But like I said, there will be some consolidation of Republicans late, because they'll be like, I hate Trump. I'm pissed off at Trump. I ain't going to vote. But when it comes down to it, their hate for Democrats, we'll get them off the couch, get them out of the Barca Lounger, shut off Sean Hannity for 10 minutes, and roll on down in their, dually to the polling place. And their dually and vote. But like I said, there ain't going to be they're not going to have the explosive numbers that they need, which is why these Texas numbers, this gerrymander, was a mistake. That's why I believe Bobby Polito wins. That's why I believe Villegas in California wins. And I'm going to go suss out this Colorado situation the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna have you help me set up sort of some of those meetings, or at least point me in the right direction to connect them. When I visit with Ken Salazar, I'll also sit down with Manny then, and we'll go over. I'm gonna have him take me to his best Mexican food restaurant, see what Colorado's got to offer.
I can connect you there. He is a really good guy. I think what you're seeing is a pattern, and things are happening not only in Texas but around the country. What we don't know is it a D+2 year, or is it a D+12? Historical data will tell us that it should be good. Me and Mike have said here for a year, we don't know how good, and things could still change, but we know that things are moving around when the DCCC is adding 12 more seats that in my lifetime would normally not be a seat of. Why are we playing in an R+8 year? Unless you have a Bobby Polito that's a country music star and folks know him, and he's right on the issues and all the things. So I find that really, really exciting. And Mike, I know you're looking at trying to make some plans to get down there. While you and Bobby were talking shit on me on the YouTube, I know that he's having a big concert down there, and I'm on the other side of that wall, so I won't be going. But if you go down there,
I may put a cowboy hat on, buy me a belt buckle.
Oh, Jesus. This is why this is the only time I wish I was on the hard side of a race so I could do this, because now they're going to talk shit on me. He's going to get these ugly hats and say it's
I'm dressed up like Chuck. I'm going to dress up like Chuck. I'm going to do one of those side-by-sides where I'm having a conversation with myself, be pretending like you're there.
But I do appreciate everybody tuning in this week, and we're going to have a great show. Y'all should know, Mike, put this on you now. We talked about it in our business meeting, which we really don't have. But this is my last show, not forever, but for a couple weeks, because I have going tomorrow to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania to pick up my grandsons, the Rocha boys.
Yeah.
The Rocha boys are coming back to DC. I'm taking them to do some TV with me tomorrow night at NBC and CBS. That's going to be awesome.
Dude, that's going to be fun.
And then on Friday, me and the Rocha boys and my lovely wife and my sister are going to fly to Alaska, where I'm going to see which one of these Rocha boys can outrun a grizzly bear.
Oh,
that's how you find out who's the strongest Rocha, is when you put them head to head with a bear. Because you can only go help one of them at a time. And if they're twins, you got two of them.
Like all of our abuelos did, is put us in front of a grizzly bear and have us run for our lives. That's great.
We're going to go to Alaska. We're going to have a great time. I'm going to miss the show for a week or two. I'm going to be up there for about 12 days. But, I told folks, I told Mike this the other day, I said, I never knew what a vacation was because my mama never had no money. We went to Six Flags every now and then. My son, who I never took on vacation because I was working in the mill, and we would maybe go down to the lake and camp and stuff. These Rocha boys are living their best life because abuelo, we make sure we go somewhere every summer, and whatever money I'm making from all these campaigns, I'm making sure that these little brown boys are living their best life. Follow me on Instagram. It's going to be the Rocha Boys summer vacation in Alaska. Who can outrun a bear, Mike Madrid?
Yeah, it'd be like Chevy Chase, the Latino version of European Vacation. Chuck, it's great to be out with you again. It was great to chat. I'm looking forward to this, and I'm really excited about the races. We'll go ahead and list all of those too, especially these Latino 4 that we're talking about.
Give some money to these folks. We'll put their bios there and their website. Donate, y'all.
Let's show the power of this community here. We'll raise them a little bit of money, keep them in contention. We'll put links down below in the comment section, and I'm going to have you sign us out because that's just the way we do things here.
Every week. I'm going to miss y'all. Make sure if you're lucky enough to still have your mom and dad, you call them and say you love them. I'm going to see my sister next week. I'm going to grab her around the neck, tell her how much I love her, hug up them Rocha boys. And until next week, y'all be good.